Hello and welcome back to episode 8 of the Carweekpodcast. I know it's been a while, we're sorry about that. We did try and record an episode, but it wasn't the quality that we really wanted. As you may notice if you're listening, if you're watching on the video, we got a man down this week, but he'll be back next week. So we may as well just kick it off and start with Connor, who's going to give us some motorsport.
Yep, due to us missing last week's podcast, we missed out on the Singapore Grand Prix along with the Russian Grand Prix that happened this previous weekend. So I think we'll kick it off with the Singapore Grand Prix.
Yeah.
I'll start with Ferrari first. It's a street circuit, Singapore. They were not expected to do well, considering their performance at Hungary in the previous season.
The heat as well.
The heat and everything about Singapore just looked like it wasn't going to be a Ferrari track. They didn't look like they had the downforce carrying through the corners, and the chassis didn't look up to spec.
Mm-hmm.
But little did we know, it turned out Ferrari I don't know what they've done over the course of the season break,
yeah.
but
They've done something.
They've done something. They took 4 straight poles. They've won, I think, nearly every race up until then.
Yeah.
They've been on a mad one. So, because of the form that Ferrari have been in, the development they've done to the car, Charles Leclerc was on pole, that was his 3rd consecutive pole in a row.
It's amazing.
For a young lad like him, in his 1st season for Ferrari, in his 2nd season in F1, he's really showing Vettel up here.
Yeah.
And then, and get into before the race even started, Ricciardo had a bit of a
yeah.
I don't know what it was. Apparently, I think it was either MGUH or MGUK.
Yeah.
He was on his slowdown lap in Q1, so it wasn't even Q3.
Mm-hmm.
He went over a curb and it spiked something in one of the MGUK or MGUHs.
Yeah.
And and then the FIA saw it and said it was a minute power gain.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, that's it. You're starting from the back of the grid. When it was on a slowdown lap, and it was for literally 0.01 of a second. It wasn't even...
Technology has these mistakes. It goes wrong. Can you not?
When you're going over bumps and curves like that in extreme heat,
you're bound
expect
to see
things to go wrong.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. But then we get into the race. Lap 1, we had a little bit of issues going around some of the turns in the street circuit, in the humidity and the heat. We had Nico Hülkenberg dive bombing Carlos Sainz, what I want to say is turn 3.
Yeah.
I don't quite know where Hülkenberg thought he was going, because turn 3, not a heavy braking zone. It's one everyone carries quite a bit of speed into, so you don't see many people try the inside going into that corner just because they know everyone's going to sweep round from the outside. But he decided to, and he paid the price. Carlos Sainz ended up getting a punch from that and had to go down to the back of the grid to after his pit stop on lap 2. And then Nico Hülkenberg, he carried on. I think he was unaffected. He might have had a bit of front wing damage. I can't quite remember. But then after that, we had Ricciardo on a charge from the back of the grid. He said before the race he's not staying there. He wants to finish in the points. But as he was charging up, he came to dive bomb Giovinazzi into one of the turns, and they came together, and that was Ricciardo's 1st puncture of the evening.
It's such a shame because when Ricciardo starts at the back, it's normally going to be a good race.
If he was in a Red Bull, he would have been straight up there. Yes. As much as I'd like to see him at Renault, it's just not the car at the moment that he needs.
Yeah, it's not the same, is it?
No, but then after...
It hurts me seeing him down the grid. It really does.
He should be a world champion by now. He has the skill. He is the calibre of driver, but I really hope when the 2021 regulations change, he actually gets the car he deserves and wins a championship. But then after that, we had coming together with Grosjean and Russell.
We did.
Well, Russell goes to go underneath Grosjean, or Grosjean goes to go around Russell. But then coming off the corner, Russell starts moving out, taking the natural racing line. Grosjean was still there. I don't know if Russell just expected him to back out, but Grosjean just pit manoeuvred him straight into the wall. And I heard on the radio, Grosjean said I had nowhere else to go. But if you look at the video, there's one of the cameras that is right behind him, going onto that straight. He still had maybe a foot and a half to get over, or he could have backed out. I
know the angle you're talking about because you can see them come around the corner. And I don't.
Grosjean is
Grosjean.
he's Grosjean. I think that's the only way
Yeah.
to describe Romain Grosjean. Then after that, we had Kvyat going back to his old ways. The Torpedo was alive again.
Alive and well.
He went going into turn 1 with Kimi Räikkönen. He just started to launch one down the inside when it was. He started from a way back. He wasn't even in an overtaking position.
And when you say launch, you mean launch.
Oh mate, he looked like he got shot out of a cannon when he went into turn 1. I don't know why or what he just did it, and that took Kimi Räikkönen out of the race and brought out the second or third safety car of the night. But after that, we had, or before that, should I say, sorry, Vettel. He pitted, he was second in the race, and he pitted before Charles Leclerc. Everyone before this was setting really slow lap times. Everyone was going at snail's pace. But they pitted Vettel to cover off Verstappen, who was also coming into the pits. But Ferrari was not expecting the pace that Vettel had coming out of the pits. I mean, in the middle sector, everyone was doing 40s or something, and he did like a 36. I can't remember, but he was 4 seconds up on the pace to everyone else. They undercut Charles Leclerc and sort of took the race win.
Yeah.
It was a good drive by Sebastian Vettel, don't get me wrong. He deserved the win because he kept second, and then he just put in an outstanding outlap. But it was a bit of a weird one seeing the pole sitter, race leader.
For the majority of the race.
Oh, you think he's going to have a comfortable win as well because he's just pulling away. And then all of a sudden, straight back to second.
Especially with the previous races as well. It's just like...
Oh, yeah. Everyone thought he was going to win, but no. But Vettel ended up winning in Singapore. So then we move on to Sochi, the Russian Grand Prix. Again, Ferraris had amazing pace around Sochi. Yeah. So, naturally, Charles Leclerc, 4th straight pole, and Ferrari's 4th straight pole in a row. And
I want to see more of it.
What can you say about this young man? I don't know, but before this...
Still not the favourite driver, though, is he?
Oh, mate, don't.
Ferrari, think.
Yeah, but they're always going to go for their 4-time world champion. But
yeah,
I know the results on track aren't really showing that, but
on paper, you can understand it.
Nah, but before Sochi actually kicked off, Honda were bringing an engine upgrade to this round, so that meant all the Toro Rossos and the Red Bulls all took a grid penalty, which didn't help one man, Mr. Alexander Albon.
Yes,
he's in Q1. He's going round the track. He's trying to just set decent laps to get himself into Q3. And he spins it, knocks himself out of the session. He ends up leaving in Q1, and due to the grid penalty, has to start in the pit lane for that race. So, not the greatest showing for Alex Albon, but he made up for it during the race.
Yeah, we'll get back to that.
We'll get back to that in a minute. But before the race even started again, Kimi Räikkönen. After Singapore, you thought he might have had a strong one. He had DNF last time, so he'd have a strong showing this time, just to show he's still got it.
Yeah.
He jumps to start. I don't know what happened. Obviously, 5 red lights hit. They haven't gone out yet. Kimi decides he's going to leave. The Iceman thought, the rules don't apply to me.
Yeah.
But then he caught it, and he obviously got himself a grid penalty due to a false start.
Is he the most experienced person on the grid?
He's the oldest man on the grid, I'm pretty sure. But as the lights go out, the tow round Sochi was amazing. It meant any car that was in anyone's slipstream was guaranteed to pretty much overtake in turn 1. And that's exactly what Sebastian Vettel did.
Exactly.
Into the first corner. But there was team orders, apparently. The team orders that Ferrari was saying, that was agreed by both drivers, apparently, before the race, was that Sebastian Vettel was obviously going to get the tow and go lead into turn 1. They knew that was going to happen, so they said, don't worry, Charles, you've qualified on pole. We're going to switch you around later on in the race, and then you can win, and you can take the lead and just carry on from there.
Yeah.
So obviously Ferrari, he goes past, a couple laps go by because they need to pull a lead away from Lewis Hamilton.
Gets to the point where they're ready to do the change.
Ferrari come on the radio, Seb, we want to do the switch. What does Seb say? He needs to come closer. We can't switch now. Then another excuse. Hamilton's too close. Give it a couple more laps. He needs to break away.
Yeah.
He's doing the typical racing driver move of, I'm in the lead. I'm not getting out of the way. He's going to have to come past me.
Yeah.
Which, for being a pre-organised strategy, has not looked great for Sebastian Vettel. Everyone was looking back on Multi-21 with Mark Webber and Sebastian Vettel. Everyone was saying that it was Sebastian Vettel playing another Multi-21, not wanting to stay with the team orders and do it the Sebastian Vettel way. But I don't know if that's what he wanted to do. Well, it looked like what
It
what
did
he
look
wanted
like
to do,
that.
but that ended up costing them some time. But also on the first lap, before we move on during the race, Grosjean, Giovinazzi and Ricciardo.
Oh.
God's sake. So we're going into the third turn. Grosjean's on the outside. Ricciardo's going up the inside. And Giovinazzi's in the middle. 3 cars into one doesn't mix.
No.
So obviously Giovinazzi's got nowhere to go. Raikkonen's got nowhere to go. And Grosjean, he can't see that it's 3 wide going into this turn. So he's only expected one car to only give room to one car. So he's been clipped and taken out of the race. Ricciardo's been clipped and got a puncture, so he goes further back.
You can just see the tyre just pull itself off.
And Giovinazzi, the only man to actually get through it unscathed, the one in the middle, which I don't quite understand.
No,
but
neither.
But as the race goes on, Charles was putting in good laps. Vettel's tyres are dropping off, so they pit Charles first and get the undercut on Sebastian Vettel. But as Sebastian Vettel was coming out the pits, Charles Leclerc goes past, and then all of a sudden his MG UK fails and he has to retire from the race. Which was even worse for Ferrari, because the 2 Mercedes behind them hadn't pit yet.
No.
So when Sebastian Vettel pulled over, the VSC comes out, all Hamilton and Bottas dive into the pits, they get basically a free pit stop and they come out in front of Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, because they can put in faster times now.
Yeah, and now Charles Leclerc has to either get past both the Mercedes or sit where he was. So Ferrari make the strategy call to pit Charles Leclerc one more time, put on the softs opposed to the mediums or hards, whatever they had on, to give him the best edge to try and get past.
Just to try and crawl back there.
Which he unfortunately did not.
No.
But just after this VSC ends, Russell, he's going into, I think it's the third sector, and all of a sudden he locks up, he can't turn, and he goes straight on into the wall. Williams, I don't think, have come out with a reason why, but he couldn't turn, he couldn't stop, he just...
I feel so bad for Williams when I just see that. I'm like...
I feel bad for Russell. He's a talented driver, F2 champion in 2018, and he's just...
I think it shows a lot about him, though, that he's like... He's gone in at the bottom. The only place from here now is up, and he's proved himself.
He's fighting as well. He's not finishing 19th all the time now. He's developed the car with Williams, and he is finishing sometimes 14th, sometimes 15th, just depending on the luck of the race. But he has been showing he's got some pace in that car, especially beating Robert Kubica, a great driver. Not what he was when he was first in Formula One, but he's still beating him consistently every time. And then due to Russell's crash, they pulled Kubica from the race because they didn't know what caused it, and they didn't know whether it was going to cause the same issue on Kubica's car.
It's not worth the risk for Williams.
No, especially for Williams when they do not have the money to put 2 cars
exactly.
right. No, but that
I just
happens.
saw dollar signs when the car crashed. I was just like...
Yeah. That happens. Leclerc can't get past either of the Mercedes, and it finishes with a Mercedes 1-2 with what should have been a Ferrari 1-2. And Leclerc's next win. But that is how the previous 2 Formula 1 races went. Not a great one for Ferrari in the end.
However, Albon.
Oh,
that's what I want.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right. I wanted to put way more emphasis on this because he was my driver of the day.
Oh, Albon especially.
Insane.
I don't know what it is. He done it earlier on in the year for Toro Rosso. He starts in the pit lane, and all of a sudden he just turns up and he finishes great. He finished 5th from the pit lane in Sochi. I don't know how he done it.
He's crazy.
I was watching the race and he was doing some amazing overtakes on people. I mean, he was just making that look so easy in that car. He got up to P5 and I thought, or P6, sorry, I think it was actually.
Yeah, I think, 5 or 6. And
P6, either. He was...
Didn't he have a really good fight with Gasly as well?
Oh, yeah, Gasly and him sort of went at it. Gasly was a bit frustrated because he thinks he should be in the Red Bull.
Yeah, fighting for the seat.
But, is what it is. But Albon, driver of the day.
We love you, Albon.
Definitely. Now, Jack, if you want to take us on to some new cars you might have found.
Yes, so now it is time for some new cars. And I have 4 today. We're going big. And we're starting with a crazy car. That's the crazy.
Oh, I can see the pictures and I don't even know what the hell this is.
This is the Rolls-Royce Vision 103 EX. So this is their first Vision vehicle, which from what I can gather means that it's their interpretation of what they believe a car to look like about 400 years or so.
This looks like it came out the movie Tron.
I know, and the reason I've included this is because I've seen it all over social media, and I think the whole style, everything about it is just bonkers.
Is it actually a real car? They actually made this car?
Yes, so they have a prototype of it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know. And I just want to read a quote out from their webpage on the car.
Yep.
Each Rolls-Royce will be designed less like a car and more like an individual sculpture made from one seamless surface. Fluid curves sing with the warmth, romance and opulence. This is a presence that proudly announces its arrival and lights your entrance with a personal red carpet. That's their description of the car, which is very Rolls-Royce.
Well, I mean, I don't quite know what to think of this. This is a future.
This is a future.
I won't complain about it. I mean, that looks amazing. Is that a sofa in the back?
Yeah, so
geez.
they have made a prototype, and from that I can now list some of the features that are on it. So it has covers over the wheels. Yeah. That's for extra aerodynamics and efficiency. It also has storage compartments that are in the front, just like in front of the doors. And so they're at hand height, and it comes out on this small hydraulic platform. It comes out with the bags on top of it. So the luggage is delivered right to you at hand height.
Jesus.
I know, it's ridiculous. And then the way the car opens is insane. The roof lifts up and the door goes out.
It literally lets you climb into the car. It's not opening the door and getting in. It's here's the roof, here's the door.
Here's some steps.
Welcome to luxury.
So you climb up, and when you're in the actual car, you can stand up once the roof is up. So you can literally, it's like a room. And this reinforces even more why it's like a room. Because there's a Rolls-Royce silk sofa for you to sit on.
I'm assuming it's autonomous driving.
Yeah. So there's a wool carpet. Again, Rolls-Royce, tailor-made. So it's pretty much a tailored living room on wheels, as far as I'm concerned.
It is basically a luxury living room, portable.
And they also, like Connor said, they believe that at this point everything will be autonomous. So you basically get in the car in absolute luxury and it takes you to your destination.
I don't think they're wrong. Everything's going autonomous these days with all the electric motors. It's just easier.
Yeah, and if everything's going that way...
But I just can't get over it. It's a sofa. It's not a seat.
Nope, it's a sofa. It's a literal sofa.
Oh, Jesus.
And one thing I did think about is, aren't most Rolls-Royces already autonomous? Because when you think about it, you have Giovanni the butler driving you around. It's pretty much autonomous anyway.
For most owners, yes.
So you just have to cut down the expenses of a butler and get some more luxury.
Sorted. It's a win-win.
It's a plus.
They're thinking about the consumer here. They think a butler's too expensive these days, or a driver's too expensive.
The average consumer.
For the average consumer, or our average consumer,
yeah.
Get rid of it. No driver. Make it fully autonomous. But have they ever said if this is going to be released?
No, and also I can't find any. I'm presuming it's electric, but I can't find anything about electric motors or any specs. But it's just it is the future. You're sitting in a little pod pretty much and getting driven around.
It's crazy though. I will say one thing. I like it. I like the way it looks. And yeah. I think I'd own one. I think I would own one if I had the money.
So if this is the way of the future, it's going to be comfy.
It's going to be very comfy.
That's what I'm happy with.
I don't think anyone's going to be driving around feeling uncomfortable if they have one of these cars.
And they do look like spaceships.
It is generally a 5-star hotel nearly on wheels.
And it's phenomenal that it's not just, we're going to do this. They have made a working prototype.
Oh yeah, most companies where it's we're thinking of doing this. Oh, well, here's a working prototype.
I know. So... time for another prototype.
What the hell is this?
So this is the 2020 Honda E.
It looks like a square.
It looks like a cool little Japanese hatchback. It looks cute. Do you know what I
It
think?
looks chunky and ugly.
Oh, cute is the perfect word to describe
No,
that.
this is chunky and ugly.
It's not chunky, it's tiny.
It's chunky. Look at it.
The more I look at it, the more chunky it is.
It has no cuts and lines into it. It's just a fat Honda. Look at it. What the hell have they done?
So this is a prototype shipped in from Japan by Honda Europe. And it's to showcase all the new technology. That's why they shipped it down here to show it off at a car show. And although it's officially a prototype, it's pretty much ready for production at this point. They've got it that close.
Are they actually going to start producing these?
Yes.
Am I going to have to see these on the roads as I drive around now?
You might do if they do come over here.
God's sake.
So it is small, but it's a Japanese hatchback. What more do you really expect? Back leg room is a bit of a luxury. The boot is small.
Boot is non-existent, and so is the leg room in the back, I think you mean.
But it has a lot of technology, and some that I would like to highlight specifically.
Carry on.
And this is that instead of wing mirrors, it has cameras.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
So they reduce drag, which
Yep.
obviously increases the efficiency, and also increases the safety. So basically, the little cameras on either side. I think there might be one for the rear view mirror as well. But yeah, it reduces drag. But not only that, in like when it's raining, you obviously got rain on the windows, you got rain on the mirror.
Everything missed up.
Now you literally just have a clear screen that you can see through. Also, at night, there's no glare because it's cameras. You can reduce that, and they can brighten it, so you get a lot better view.
I think camera on the wing mirrors and for mirrors, I think is actually quite a great idea.
And I think it's going to catch on.
I think it will. I think we're going to
really
start seeing every car with a mirror on the side instead of a wing mirror.
And for audio listeners, where the dashboard is, it's literally just two little screens either side, as if you're going to look at the mirrors anyway.
It literally looks like you got a 3-monitor setup in your room.
Also, another thing to note is because they're cameras, they're wide angle, so it reduces the blind spot, so reduces accidents.
Even better. Even better.
So stats wise, it's got an electric motor that has 148 brake horsepower. It's rear wheel drive.
Rear wheel drive?
I know, and does 0 to 60 in an estimated 8 seconds. And it has a 124-mile range, which is a bit poor.
That's basically, it's going to be your town runaround. That's all this will end up being.
Yeah, small commuter or something. And £36,000 they estimate it to come out at.
Well, it's more than a Golf nowadays. I don't know.
But I like the styling.
I like the interior. I don't like the exterior, though.
Yeah, do you not like the exterior?
No.
I don't mind it.
Really?
It's like a really old...
It looks like a small Range Rover, like a small fat Range Rover. Can't
Small fat Range Rover.
Do you not see it?
Oh God, the more I see it, it's like a Discovery where it's got
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
front and the different... Oh God, no, with the flat back.
Yeah, exactly. Get rid of it.
Oh, the more I look at it, though.
I've now ruined this guy.
No,
You come in with so
no.
much ambition and hope I have ruined it.
The interior is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I do like all the screens and the cameras on there. I do like that.
And like the whole dashboard is just digital, everything. I love
that's
them.
what everything's going nowadays, a full digital dashboard, which I quite like.
Yeah.
I
It
like
won't
digital
make the
dials
cars
and all.
classic cars, but for actual user daily driving, it will be
user
amazing.
interface and all that. It's going to make life so much easier.
All the statistics, but you know, I am a big fan of that interior, and I think the cameras as mirrors is going to catch on.
Yes,
we're going to be seeing that in a lot of cars.
As long as they don't pattern the idea. Ooh.
Next, we have the Audi ABT A1 Sportback widebody 1 of 1.
Here's the list of names. And
Yep.
it's as long as your arm.
And so I think this is I'm not going to go too in depth, so I'll just do a quick one on this one. And I think it's a car that we are both going to love. We're going to agree that it's amazing.
I mean, I looked at the colour scheme they've got it and the body kit they've got on it, and I already want one.
Yeah. So it's a one-off car.
Yep.
Which is annoying because I want one.
Yeah.
But I do really want to mention it. So
Come on, what's it?
if you aren't aware of who ABT are,
I can't say I am.
oh, so they are a tuning company. Do you know Mansory and Brabus?
Yep.
So it's basically essentially a company like that, but they focus a lot more on Euro cars, especially Audis.
Oh, right, okay.
And they literally make the best Audis out there. their work is insane.
Nice.
They do. They obviously do all the cosmetics, but they also do engine tuning.
So
It's
I could, if
incredible.
I bought, say, an Audi RS5, I could take to them and they would.
Well, they sell at ABT versions.
Do they?
Yes, and they are phenomenal.
I might have to look into one. I'm
So-
not saying I have the money for an RS5, but you know.
But if you do, so it has a 2-litre engine from a TT Cup race car. It's a
Jeez.
4-cylinder turbocharged 310 brake horsepower engine. However, there's an overboost function which temporarily gets an extra 30 brake horsepower for a grand total of 340. However, they also managed to stretch the engine so it reaches about 400 brake horsepower,
Jesus.
and it has a straight pipe, because why wouldn't
Why
it?
would you want a catalytic converter?
And also, it has the two-tone design, because they made Unolson's RS6, which was half and half,
yes, yeah.
half white, half black.
Yep.
That's inspired this design that they have on it.
I love that. That is great.
But I literally only have good things to say about this car.
I want one.
The kit looks amazing. The vinyl looks, it's just so aggressive
It works,
and violent.
doesn't it? Look at that interior.
The
as
interior,
well.
they've got bespoke like bucket seats and Alcantara everything.
Just look at that thing. It's
It's-
amazing.
There's no back seats, obviously cage, and it's
Weight
I want
reduction,
one.
bro. Why would you want back seats? No, but I would have one of these.
They are incredible. They look so good. And
Can I put it on my Christmas list? Do you think someone will turn up with one?
well, I mean, all the research and development and custom made. If they did start selling more than one, I think they would be.
They would be quite a
hell of a
popular
lot.
option, I reckon.
They would cost so much as well. But
Unfortunately, yes.
but unfortunately, there's only one.
But
We'll have to go and.
they can be persuaded.
Yeah. Money talks. Everything has a price.
Everyone has a price.
Everyone. Yeah, no. ABT. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Done a good job.
Good job there. Well done.
Amazing. We love it.
Right, what am I looking at now?
So, this is a bit of a throwback. In episode 6, we talked about the Polestar 1, and
Ooh.
we all really liked it.
Yes.
So
great
now
car.
we
Looks
are.
amazing.
Yeah, now we are here with the Polestar 2 on the table. So the Polestar 2 is a 5-door fastback, but it's packed with hell of a lot of technology. Because
It's all electric, I'm assuming, as well, like the Polestar 1 was.
Well, the first one had that weird hybrid system, do you remember?
Oh,
And that's
yes,
why
yes,
we
yes.
liked it so much. However, this one is 100% electric. Has 2 electric motors, one for the front axles, one for the back axles. It makes 408 brake horsepower, 660 newton meters of torque. So it isn't slow for a 5-door family car, maybe. I would stretch it that far.
Oh, it's a 4-door, like...
It's higher up than
Yeah.
the Polestar 1.
I'd
It's-
say... I don't know.
No, I don't know.
I don't know. It reminds me of the BMW like X4 and X6, you know, with the back extending a little bit like that.
Yeah.
I reckon if it had like a flatter back, maybe like the what am I thinking of?
But you need that if this is a family-centered car. Because
You-
the Polestar 1 was very nice, and
Yeah,
it had that Volvo look to it, and
it probably needs the boot space. Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
Because for being a family car, but for looks wise, you can't tell me it probably needs a flatter back.
Yeah.
But no, for the second car, I have to say I probably am quite a fan of Polestar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would buy a Polestar.
Here's the kicker. A 500-kilometer range on the electric batteries.
Jesus.
And 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. I also want to note that they now have a Polestar app, which allows you to customize your driving experience and play around with the regenerative. Well, how do you say it? How do you say
Regenerative.
brakes?
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm on about. I
so
can't say
basically
the
it's a
word.
KERS system.
Yeah, so you can choose how much like power you want to bring back. You can have it. They said on the website you can get it so it's almost you're only really using the brake to drive, because the engine just goes and then you use the brake to adjust it and feed power back in. I don't want to get too far into it, but go on Polestar's website.
Just imagine you accidentally
and click on
forget
their
and you just set
braking.
full power on the engine and you've got
Yeah.
to control everything on the
It
brake.
is an interesting thing to read, so I recommend you go have a look.
There is some amazing technology you can get with all these electric cars.
And there is a performance package for the Polestar 2. It has Brembo
Good lads.
brakes. It has dual flow valve suspension. has 20-inch forged alloys, and here's the kicker: gold seat belts. Gold seat belts.
I mean, I don't know why you'd need gold
If
seat
that
belts.
doesn't scream
but
performance, I don't know what does.
you pull up to the line and next to someone that's like, "Oh, you don't look too tough." Just show them the seat
Gold
belt.
seat
Back
belts.
down straight away.
Oh no.
How to win every drag race ever now.
So we all liked the Polestar 1 for
Yeah.
the styling, for the hybrid technology. Remember, this is Polestar 2, full electric. What are we thinking?
The
Judging
inside,
it from just a car perspective.
at the moment, the inside reminds me of a Tesla.
Yeah.
With the big screen in the middle. It's got like a BMW X6 exterior with like a Tesla interior. But I like the seats, like that cream seats. I think the cream with the black is a good two-tone colour. Just because of the Polestar 1, it doesn't look too bad. And it's got some good power performance and everything. I think I'll probably have one of the Polestar 2s.
Yeah.
But I'd mainly go for the Polestar.
I also think, like Tesla, it's really simplistic, like seriously.
Yeah.
This just has a little bit more, like the buttons on the steering wheel and stuff is a bit
little
more.
bit more to it. Yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah.
I think it's the perfect match between like a mainstream BMW, Audi electric car, all full shebang, and then Tesla, like with it has a long range, but it's very simplistic and not much character.
Yeah.
This is like the good in between, if that makes sense.
I like it. I probably would have a Polestar 2.
Yeah, and Polestar, keep up the good work.
Yeah, you're doing great at the
Yeah.
moment. So what are we expecting next? A hot hatchback?
Oh.
A Polestar hot hatchback?
Because at the minute, they all have the same like front grille kind of style.
I do like the front of the Polestars.
A hatchback version would be beautiful.
Oh, mate, if they
lining
came-
them all up.
They came out with a Polestar hatchback, I'll be very happy.
And as we recommended that, we'd like to be the first to test it.
Oh, exactly. If Polestar do not come to us first, there will be outrage.
No,
No.
yeah, we love it. So those are the new cars, and to summarise, we got the Rolls Royce, which is bonkers.
Oh, that's crazy.
We got the Honda E,
It
which
is a small fat
Connor
Land Rover.
hates. I think it's all right.
No, get it away from me now.
Then we have the Audi,
Yes, just
the ABT Audi.
every
Yes.
box is ticked. Just yes, okay.
Yes.
That's all we need to say.
Power, looks, it does
Everything.
everything.
It does everything, that car.
And
then
then
the Polestar.
the Polestar is just a solid car.
We're not fanboys, we're just passionate.
Just passionate.
Just passionate.
ABT, I want the Audi. Just passionate.
So,
Now it comes down to a car debate.
not really a car debate because there's not three of
yeah.
us, so it's a car duel.
So yeah, we're missing the Huracan Evo
Yep,
from the car
Huracan
debate,
Evo.
but we're still gonna have a little
Right.
duel.
In this, we're putting together some mid-engine rear-wheel drive supercars.
New ones.
Newer,
Yeah.
semi-over. How long is what I've got from
2019.
Yeah.
2020.
Well, I've got the McLaren 720S. As we know, I love McLarens. I love the P1. I love the Senna. And I will say the same for this. I love the 720S. Let me just run you through a few of the stats. 710 brake horsepower, 568 newton meters of torque, top speed of 212, all coming from a 4-litre V8 twin, which has twin turbo electrically actuated turbochargers. A 7-speed seamless shift gearbox.
Seamless.
Not just a normal automatic, like in F1 cars, seamless shifting, where it's next gear, next gear, next gear. 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds, 0 to 124 in 7.8 seconds. All this weighs, for one of these, just 1,424 kilograms. And if you wanted to buy a 720S, you're looking around 220, 218,000. Bells and whistles on it. Open differential, active dampers with proactive chassis control. It's got a DRS system, so when you're blasting it down the straight, you just get that extra bit of performance, reducing drag. LED lights, sports leather interior on some packages, Pirelli tyres, because if you're not going to have the best. And then also, what I found was quite funny, you could also get, as an optional extra, an engine bay ambient light. So it's just as
But when you're
sitting-
showing it off.
when you're showing it off, you could have red, blue, whatever you want as an engine bay ambient light.
I would have thought that would be in the Lamborghini. Yeah, have all three.
To be fair, when I saw it, McLaren practical cars,
Yeah.
and then it's just like, here's an ambient light in your engine bay. I was like, you know what? I
okay,
approve.
Yeah.
I do approve.
We'll take it.
Right, Jack, what have you got?
I have the Ferrari F8 Tributo. So, this is essentially Ferrari's new entry-level supercar. It replaces the 488 GTB, which came out in 2015, I think. Yeah, and it's not a brand new, built straight from the ground, like complete new car. It's kind of, it's more of like a replace. It's like a step up from the 488.
I would say it still has the 488 look
sides,
doesn't
yeah,
it? Yeah.
So it's mainly just upgraded like everything and just brung new technology to the 488.
As long as they've done performance-wise, it doesn't really matter.
They have indeed. So it's mainly upgraded in its design, as you can see on the pictures. It's got a new front and a new back, which I think both look pretty good.
It's Ferrari. It was
Yeah,
always
it's
going to
be
good,
beautiful,
wasn't it?
But also they have way more aggressive aerodynamics, and also the aerodynamics are based on the incredible 488 Pista. I love that car. It's a beautiful car.
It's a beautiful machine.
So, and also engine-wise, they've taken a leap from the research and development they did for the Pista as well. So, this is the only problem, but without the Hurricane here, because I have a 4-litre V8 rear-wheel drive. I also have 710 brake horsepower. However, I'm pretty sure this revs a little bit higher. I think because that's 710 brake horsepower at 8,000 RPM. And if I remember seeing on the website, I think yours was 710, but it was like 7,500 RPM. It's like pretty much the same.
I remember it not being as hard as I thought it was going to be for a seamless shift gearbox and a 4-litre V8.
Yeah.
And a supercar putting out 710 brake horsepower. I thought it at least probably rev to 10,000.
But this does spice up the car duel because they're very similar. Because I also have the same torque as you.
And say stats wise,
Did you have
they are
0
the
to
same
60?
car basically underneath. Yes, I have my 0 to 60. What's yours?
Mine's 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds.
I've seen mine vary, so I just picked the lowest, 2.8.
Oh, so they're very close performance-wise.
Have you got 0 to 124 or anything like that?
No, I didn't. But I do have top speed of 211.
And see? 212. Jesus.
Oh my god. So I can't say I know too much about all the like suspension and the new interior technology because it's Ferrari releasing a new car, which, as we know,
who wants to know the details of the new car they're buying?
Everything's just thrown in the air, and it's just kind of get what information you can. But it'll likely have all the technology from the 488, but upgraded, and everything you'd expect from a new supercar.
Yeah. So if we're putting these cars up against each other stats-wise, there is no splitting them. These are two cars that are basically the same performance-wise. Both got 710. Both do the same 0 to 60, basically. Same engine. Is yours turbocharged or is yours naturally aspirated?
I think mine is naturally aspirated.
I was going to say, because mine's got 2 turbochargers on it. You know, 2 whirly boys. But
everyone loves one.
Yeah. But if we're going to go for looks-wise...
See, this is a hard one because if I had got shown the red Ferrari, like the is it F8, just in red, the front of it normally, I would be like, okay, because I love the styling on the McLaren 720S. I think it's a beautiful car. But when I saw this in red, I was like, yeah, I think I prefer the McLaren. And then I saw a picture of it in blue.
Yeah.
And look up Ferrari F8 Tributo in blue. It's insane. This like metallic blue, it looks incredible with the silver wheels as well. I'm a big fan.
Can we go to the McLaren quickly?
Of course.
As much as I like the McLaren, sometimes it's just Ferrari and the Italians. They just know how to style a car.
Because the McLaren, I think, is beautiful.
It has that typical McLaren front.
Yeah, it's just aggressive, but it's got all the lines there.
It's going to have all your aero vents, get the cooling of the brakes, all the air intake. But I'm going to have to give it to the Ferrari. Ferrari's front, just look at that thing.
It's just impressive. It's just so, I don't know.
But let's look at the back.
It is close. The back it's all right.
Do you know what it reminds me of? An Acura NSX from behind.
Yeah, it has like the roundness of the NSX and it has like the lights from an 812.
I'm saying it's a bit of a weird one. But then if you go to the McLaren, it's your typical.
But it is not. It is cool. It does have the dual exits in the back.
Oh yeah. Don't
It's,
get me wrong.
yeah.
It's still a nice car to look at from behind. Whereas
So what's the conclusion looks wise then?
I don't think the McLaren has a good back. That's all I will say.
No,
It's
it does
just-
let it down a bit.
I have to looks wise from the exterior, Ferrari.
Yep.
It's
Okay.
got to be.
Yeah, we
Ferrari.
can agree on
I
that.
think there's no debating it. There's as much as the McLaren looks good at the front, it's let down so much when you get to the rear.
Yeah, and the Ferrari's just so like it's
It
Ferrari.
flows better
It
as well
is, it's
along
just-
the
yeah.
chassis and yeah.
But now it comes down to the interior.
The McLaren didn't shine too much in the interiors.
No, it is classic McLaren. But one thing I do want to note is that I've seen a lot by people who own 720Ss that they say the McLaren is one of the best cars in the world because it is insane on the track. That it has a luxury interior, so it's like almost like a Grand Tourer. You can do long road trips. It's comfortable. It has all the technology that you need to like almost not daily drive, but just to drive normally in. So it can go along the street casually, but also it can open up and it's got like, incredible handling, sticks to the road. Because that's where I think if the Lamborghini was here, the Lamborghini you only really drive aggressively, and that's and then trying to drive that through a street would be a bit.
And see, with McLaren, they're more practical. It's more performance.
They are
ride.
A lot of just technology, like They really concentrate on the performance.
I know with some McLarens, they don't even let you open the engine bay. Like you can't open the engine bay on some McLarens because they've put so much money into it. They think, oh yeah, we're not going to have the customer mess around with it. The only way you could actually get into the engine bay is, say, you take your car in for a service or something, and they actually go into it themselves. But McLaren are it's simple, but you're more paying for the performance
as
and
well,
the power.
isn't it? Like everything's there for a reason.
Yes,
like
Whereas a Ferrari, it's they just they
it's
do
the
a
same
great
interior every bloody time, and it is nice, and all like I think the seats are really nice. The mix.
It's the
of,
same
like,
steering wheel every time as well.
Like you can see there's subtle changes, and don't get me wrong, in like overall it looks really nice, but it just doesn't have the wow.
But don't fix what ain't really broke. The interior still.
You
looks
have got
good.
a good point. It does look good.
I'm probably gonna have to give it to the Ferrari on looks as well.
I am because I'm a big fan of the whole like those seats they have in the picture we have if you're watching on YouTube, and the dashboard. It's just really clean, and like I don't know whether they normally have the matte carbon fibre on the wheel and that, but that looks nice.
I was gonna say that looks a lot better, but you obviously got your big red engine start button, and that's just one of your main selling points.
I love it. So is that a Ferrari as well? But now I think we need to go. Well, performance they're the same.
Performance you can't split them, but general looks wise, Ferrari had just done a normal Ferrari and just made it look beautiful.
And then the classic question from our other show, Car Debate, is what one would you buy tomorrow if you had to go and buy one? I think that's a quick answer for me, and that's a 720S.
I was going to say, easy for me, I like my cars to perform. Just the performance and the functionality of the McLaren 720S.
And I like to drive them. I want them to work every time and be good at it.
Don't get me wrong, the Ferrari, it looks great. You'll be driving around the road and you'd like see a reflection in a window or something. You'd be like, I'm driving this car. But when you're in the 720S, you haven't got time to look at the window most of the time. It's like, I'm in a McLaren here. I've got to focus on driving this car.
And I feel if I owned the Ferrari, I'd wait for the 30 days a year where it's perfect sunshine, like to go out.
Oh yeah, it'll be in a garage for a while until you get some decent weather to go out in.
The McLaren, I'd go out every weekend.
Oh mate, it'd be your daily, wouldn't it?
It would.
Like you say, it'd be your Grand Tour and you'd be your daily.
Because I think the McLaren is literally the jack of all trades. It does everything and it does everything well.
Yeah.
I would say more than well, to be honest.
Am I right in saying that I think we're going to have a tie here? Looks wise, it's the Ferrari. Performance wise and drivability, it's McLaren. It's a tie. And stats, you can't split them. I think we can't split them here.
I think we need to go on a road trip with both the cars.
That's the only way to figure this out.
No, I think we're going to have to call it a draw.
Yeah. right?
Yeah, I'm so surprised by how like similar the performance specs are.
Oh mate, I couldn't believe it. They're almost the same car underneath. But I think that'll do for
Yeah, time to
episode
wrap
8.
up episode 8.
I
So
think it'll take
yeah, thank you for sticking with us. I know it's been a bit of a break, and we should be back on schedule now.
all 3 of us back on schedule.
Yeah, every Wednesday is when we upload, and yeah, Jared will be back next week. And I mean, that's about it. We hope you carry on sharing the podcast to let everyone know that we're still going. We promise we're still going.
Yes.
We're not giving up.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Carweekpodcast.
Yep.
And if you're listening on listening on Spotify or any of your favourite podcast app, give us a rating. It really helps us out.
Yeah, it
and,
really pushes
subscribe.
the podcast.
And if you're watching on YouTube, please like the video, comment what you want to see, and subscribe as well. I think that's all do.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching and sticking with us. We'll see you next week.
See you later.